Assalamualaikum and very good evening to everyone. My name is Hassan Haji Meramadin and I'm from Group 1. So the title that we got for our project is Multimedia Development Life Cycle. So proceeding to the next objective. These are the objectives that our group should be able to come up with. So first is to identify the three main components of a multimedia project. Second, state the basic phases of a structured multimedia development processes. Number three, appreciate the importance of having a structured multimedia development processes. And last, describe the storyboards and the storyboarding processes. And so this is the brief overview of the SDLC. First, actually, the development of traditional software usually focus on the operational function of the software. The multimedia product developer must not only consider the operational functionality but also the content of the application. So multimedia product therefore is based on a number of factors to make successful multimedia products. So this is the process. The first process is concept validity. This is the idea to what actually the products are. So this is important for commercial product. And second, technology independence. This is for the advance of the technologies in the future or anytime. So the third one is availability of content. So through the argument, whether can we fill the list with relevant and useful content on every products. And next is tool selection. Whether we need to pick the best tool for the production for the final execution. So the next one is authoring. It is whether to simplify the production processes. And the next one is testing. This should be done in more proper way because every products need to be tested before going out. So the next one, delivery and product support. This is after the product has been settled and then for the use of users' purpose. Developers often leave delivery and support as an afterthought, putting too much dependence on end user skills to install and use the product. Actually, it's important because developers need to keep in touch with the user long after delivery of the product. So sometimes the developers need to communicate with the user, so whether if the user had any problem with the products, and also the maintenance. So for the maintenance updated mainly because performance improvement, error correction or new content availability. Developers should consider extensibility in the production design to ensure that updates are easy and also cost effective. So for the next part, I'll introduce to my next partner. So
and for us me to explain more briefly about the multimedia project. So basically this is the flow of the multimedia project. First, it is contained the producer, product and to the client. So in the product section, we have three more subsections, that is content, function and technologies. Okay, the producer, it's the budget, resource and tool schedule. It includes the two of these resources. For the client, they need the skills and the benefits so that they can use all those projects. So, next. So, multimedia project depend on three components. There are three components that I just explained just now. And the first one is the producer, the creator of the product responsible for managing the budget, resource, tools, and schedule. Okay. The producer is actually that responsible to produce the project starting from the beginning until the end. Okay. So the second one is the consumer, the sponsor, define the need, skills of end user and the benefits of the product. consumer is the sponsor of the project. So basically, so for the next subtopic is the structure multimedia development. Okay, multimedia application development requires structure and methodical process to seamless blend the technology with the creative thinking and video and software development. So basically, it needs the software and video and also the critical thinking to develop a great and successful multimedia project. So, okay, this is the flow chart for the structured multimedia development. Okay, it starts with the planning. Okay, in the planning phase, it contains three. That is goals, objective, and resources. After planning, we go to the storyboarding, screen layout, and logical flow. So in this storyboarding, it includes sketching of the layout on each of the phase. For example, if we want to create a video, animation video, we have to create a layout and sketch it onto a paper because we can clearly see next stage and to the next stage. Okay, so basically it will go to the content production. It will include the source of data, okay, and also it will go to the authoring side. Okay, authoring can control application file. After we have done the process of storyboarding, we can author which one is the mistake or which one can be redone to become more great and more successful. Okay. So basically, it will go to the evaluation after finish the authoring, and also evaluation will go to the deployment system and the documentation. After the system have finished and done, it will come up with documentation about the whole project. Okay. After deployment, it will go to the maintenance. Okay, maintenance updates product and improvement. Okay, after we have shown to the client, for example, we have shown to the client of the project, it will undergo some testing to view all those something like we can develop improvement, so we can build a more accessible and more user friendly. Okay, in this authoring, it contains system hardware and software, a requirement analysis and architecture design. Okay, requirements also include the specification such as what software and hardware we will use to develop the project. For example, if we create multimedia animation project, we use Blender tools, we use Houdini, for example, and we go to the next architecture design. Okay, architecture is basically about the system and hardware software they combine to create the project. Okay. So basically, I will pass this to my next friend to explain more about some topics. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Mifzah Bilanullah, and now I will explain about sample project.
First of all, you need to understand how to apply a structured process to multimedia development, and there are 5 samples which can help you to understand. They are commercial, kiosk, briefing, trainer, and website. Now I will explain about commercial. Commercial is a profit game product which will be developed or produced, while kiosk is a standalone information delivery system located in a shopping mall, which is periodically updated. Next one is briefing. Briefing is a corporate technical presentation that will be used a limited number of times. Next one is trainer. Trainer is a computer-based training system for individuals to learn new processes and products. And the last one is website. Website is a multimedia-based www application for corporate customers.
Now I will explain about planning.
Planning. Planning is the beginning phase of development and can make the difference in project success and failure. Planning also can define the project and product goal, specify project objectives, scope and technical issues and content, and determine schedule. Planning is very important as the answers to the questions are detailed in a planning document which is both fixed and dynamic. Now I explain about fixed component and dynamic component. Fixed component describe the project, product, objective, and initial allocation of resources, schedule, and budget, while dynamic component is that tracking resources and project costs as the project unfolds.
I will present about structure multimedia development. The flow is begin from system hardware and software, the requirement analysis, the specification and architecture design. Requirement and architecture. Define and specify the hardware and software required for a multimedia product. The requirement processes specifies program and hardware. That is describe the functional characteristic of the application in terms of what is expected and where it is to be delivered. Performance describe the expectation for speed, size, and efficiency of hardware and software. User interface describe who will use the software and how they can expect to use it. Hardware describe specific feature of hardware such as what the end user is expected to have or the type of hardware platform the application is to be deployed. Hardware and software interface describe how the software is behave on the hardware platform. Requirement describe the expected behavior of the hardware and software and form the basic from which structure is designed. This is the flow of system hardware and software, where each requirement analysis go to architecture design to platform and altering. Some of the requirement of product including functional requirement, user requirement, and performance requirement. The architecture transform the requirement into a design by identifying or selecting specific software including the application development, environment, and operating system. Specific hardware that support the software, how the software is installed onto the hardware, and how new software will be implemented to satisfy specific requirement.
I'll proceed to the requirement and architecture. First, the product of the architecture activity is the design approach for the software and hardware to be used in product development. Then, multimedia products are developed using a number of operating software tools, such as we know, Flash, and so on. Requirement and architecture specification vary a great deal from project to project. This is the navigation structure. As you can see here, divided into four: linear, theoretical, non-linear, and composite. For the linear, user navigate sequentially from one frame to another. At the front, you can see the figure shows the linear in the linear form and the theoretical in the theoretical form. User navigate along the branch of a tree structure that is shaped by the natural logic contents. In the non-linear, user navigate freely unbound by predetermined routes. And the composite, user can navigate freely but associationally constrained, such as movie data organized in hierarchy form. The composite structure shows that combinations of the linear and the hierarchical form. This is one of the examples of the navigation structure. Here is the hierarchical structure, and that's linear, and that's associated as a hierarchical form. Structure multimedia development. This structure is in the storyboard and screen layout and logical form, two form, as my friends explained just now. The structure in the second phase, which is the storyboarding. Okay, that's all. think I can proceed to my friend.
Subtopic is storyboard. Storyboard is the process of defining the message and describing the user relation with content and the application. Then storyboard involves a complex effort who develop a script layout that describes content, plot, and format. Storyboard is similar to the requirement limited in describing what the project is going to do and how it is going to influence of the content. The project designer, subject matter expert will develop and review the storyboard to ensure the subject matter is comprehensively covered in a fashion that the anticipated end user can read. These are storyboard components that include project information, frame numbering, slide numbering, other multimedia description, notes, graphic description, calculation, and graphic other media labeling. This example of storyboard that have a flowchart and a dialogue. This is also example, but they have not no flowchart, just have a picture and the dialogue.
I would like to explain about content production. Content production follows storyboarding so that the stories, ideas, and concepts can be turned into reality. For the second point is content production depending on the availability of existing resources or the need to create new materials includes identification of new resources to be created or selected from existing resources, obtaining rights to existing materials, digitizing of source pictures, audios, videos into compatible format, production of original materials including text, graphic, audio effects, and animation by graphic stars. And last, format source data for presentation into the product. Authoring is the process of assembling the content into the multimedia software development environment following the maps provided by the storyboard. There are two kinds of authoring that occur. Content assembly, the content is put together and linked to the other content. The second one is functional programming. Software is created to provide specific behavior. It is critical that selection of the authoring tools and storyboarding be mutual. Next. Some issue in choosing tool include level of interactivity required, platform requirement, interaction with other software and system. For the second point is the authoring process will implement the desired feature set using the prescribed tool. If the tool is inadequate, the project may fail. Sometimes you are asked to develop the prototype of the real system to the user. Prototyping product may be used to sell the concept or test the idea for capabilities before producing the real one. Next. Okay, this is the flow of prototyping. It starts from planning and then storyboarding. After that, content production, then authoring. And it is all about prototype development and includes system hardware and software, requirement analysis, and architecture design. So for the prototype development, it includes test product ideas, evaluate soft capabilities, evaluate design strategy.
Okay, now I will continue with evaluation. Evaluation is the process that tests and assesses the end product to make sure it is what was ordered and it does what it's supposed to do. It's like the moment the report and requirement and task activities begin. In process evaluation that occurs during development called formative evaluation. By evaluation conducted
requirements are checked to make sure that they are certified product. Now, tell you guys about usability. Usability testing may be applied to prototype version of the product, data elements such as graphic, audio, video segment, and animation clips, and the complete product. Usability testing can be used to correct deficiency and to improve the product by correcting problems with the operation, performance, or user interface design. Here are the flow. As you can see here, according error to evolution, like I said before, it's for summative evolution. Provide immediate feedback about the occurring activity to immediately correct problems. That's all I can say about evolution.
We proceed the development. So, what is development? Okay, the development is release the product of to the end user, and the task involves such as development for the product in the writing into the user and installing guide and troubleshooting instruction. So the next, the mass product of the CD-ROM, packing of product, marketing the product, mass production of hardware, installing of the software, and the last, training customers to use the software. The next, maintenance. We are focused the maintenance. So what is maintenance? Maintenance is the process in which a product can improve and improve which technology or to the meet user demand. Okay, you can either complete the distribution of the product or the distribution of portion of the product to replace quality or division signal of software or data. The second, depending on the extent of the reward, maintenance activities may accomplish a new development cycle for planning, growth, and the last development of the whole vision is important.
I can proceed about the costing of Multimedia. Multimedia project cost based on the content cost, equipment cost, talent and production cost, facility and location cost, marketing and production cost, and also maintenance and support cost salary. For the content cost, they are include the price of tags,
the next example is the number of element of content. So these may be measured as 100 words of text, a single graphic, or minutes of video. A per unit cost can be developed that account for audio or video production, editing, and processing. The key to use this model is having a history of prior projects from which to derive costs for authoring and content production. So the other costing issue include management costs, quality, assurance, realism, songs, scheduling, and talent. So that's all.
Kenapa beli muka dia?
So this is another example for the content modeling, where it is a set for meet the requirement or not. So that's all from